It's the first time I've seen her like that. Like, most times she's hidden. When you think about it, it's just crazy how, people are going through so much. Yeah, you're expecting me to say that. I have not said it. Isn't that crazy? That people do everything possible just to die later than now. Because one thing for sure is that they will peg. Thank you for that very, very, very inspiring and exciting round of applause, welcoming us back to our favorite podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Buyoya. I run you through some of the headlines of the stories making news around Zambia. And we've got a couple of stories that we are looking at today. There's an interesting story for people that are coming from Lusaka, and this is that the Chongwe cemetery is being expanded. There's a shortage of burial site. Some of these stories always find me a bit sad. I know everybody's gonna die and we're all headed the same direction, but it's a bit sad to note that we're running out of space. About 10% of the contaminated Mealie meal that was on the market has already been consumed, so we'll be getting into this story and many more stories. Let's start off, first of all, here. There was a mining accident that happened, very sad situation. Rescue operations for 9 trapped men at Chongwe gravel mine have been concluded after the retrieval of the 9th and last body that remained trapped. 8 other bodies were retrieved on Sunday following the collapse of the mine in Mwashinango village. Chieftainess in Komeshamuka Mambo the second. The Lusaka province minister Shiu Muliata visited the accident scene and said that government would take full responsibility of the funeral arrangements for the 9 deceased. And there's been a direction that all mining activities at the area be put on hold and that the accident scene should be secured. Let's take a look at this. Peter Zunda covered this.
A significant loss of life has been recorded here in Mwanashinango village, Chongwe district of Lusaka province. This gravel mine collapsed, trapping 9 loaders, aged between 20 and 30, who were engaged to load the tipper truck. 8 bodies were yesterday retrieved before the rescue operations were suspended in the evening. By 7 hours today, rescue operation had already resumed and 1 body has been retrieved. This concludes the exhuming operations, as it is believed that no other body has been left unretrieved. Lusaka Province Minister Shiu Muliata was on the ground and witnessed the retrieval of the 9th body. She is saddened with the loss of life that has occurred here, and she has directed all the mining activities in the district to be put on hold with immediate effect.
As government, we are saddened. We have lost our children, 9 lives. As you saw for yourself, just the 9th body was just being unearthed there. It's very sad. And that is in the presence of all these people who are saddened, coming from 1 or 2 villages that are here. This will not tolerate as a government. I have told the DC and the mayor with immediate effect that they should go around Chongwe and see where other activities of this nature are taking place so that they should be stopped immediately.
According to police, the mine was operating without proper authorization and that a comprehensive report including further details will be submitted once interviews with the families are concluded.
2 of the bodies have been deposited at Chongwe District Hospital mortuary, while the remaining 7 were transferred to UTH mortuary. The search for the final missing body continued into the morning of today, 26 August 2024, and the body of Mike Ngoma from Mashinango village was successfully exhumed at 10 hours.
The trapping to death incident has saddened the people in the communities as they came to witness the retrieval of their beloved ones.
Bululu wanga, kazeni wanga. Ndiye muntu amene nzali kubwera kuno kubolo sebenzera kuno. so ngati namuyitana nakamba naye enzokamba ati uyu mundani wa batati
tekubanzanga kuti chimene chachitika apa tisakabwezepo mene wazionera konse wanyamata wasiye.
The government wants the responsible persons operating on this mine to be known, and Zambia Police has urged all citizens to avoid engaging in illegal mining activities that poses significant risk to life and safety. The police service is further committed to ensuring that those responsible for operating the illegal sites are brought to book. For now, this gravel mine will remain closed until further guidance from the authorities. Peter Zunda Jr., Dama News, Chongwe District, Saka Province.
Very sad, and I don't know if I can have anything more to say about this, but, call on authorities to take a closer look. And I know that it can be frustrating for law enforcement agencies, for government to always hear this, but, some of these things are under their jurisdiction. And unfortunately, when people are left unattended, they can care about pretty much nothing. As long as they are gaining a buck from there, they're not going to care about anything else. They just want to focus on making the money, even if it can be a risk to their lives. They really just want to make that money, which is a bit unfortunate. This is not the only illegal mining operation, and so government must take interest into all of this, and they probably are already taking interest, but they should be a bit harder on this. It is fun and games and good when people are making money, but it's very unfortunate when these many lives are lost in this tragic manner, because you don't want to see anybody die in such circumstances. Very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But let's go back to aflatoxicosis, because we've been covering this story for a fortnight now, and the Millers Association of Zambia has disclosed that the offloaded quantity of Mealie meal with aflatoxin on the market, about 10% was consumed by humans. In an interview with Diamond News, Association President Andrew Chintala says this is because of the huge quantity of the products that have been withdrawn from the market. According to Mr. Chintala, there is no contaminated Mealie meal that is on the market at the moment. Last week, government destroyed over 3,000 bags of Mealie meal that were found containing aflatoxin and 10 tons of dog food. And we've been covering this story. We've been bringing it to the fore and making people aware. But let's listen to the Millers Association of Zambia President Andrew Chintala.
It has been months since the Zambian government became aware of the presence of aflatoxin in some Mealie meal brands. According to sources, information was given to government in June 2024, but only decided to disclose to the public in August 2024, following some media reports. Although the Ministry of Health confirmed the presence of the poisonous substance, it has not been revealed how wide the poisonous Mealie meal may have been consumed. We have asked the Millers Association of Zambia President Andrew Chintala, who says of the contaminated Mealie meal placed on the market, about 10% may have been consumed.
I'll tell you that the product that went out. So you see, basically, what would be of great concern would be the quantities of products that were released. If at all, even 10-20% of that was consumed. But thank God that when this issue was brought, remember it wasn't about immediately that came, we decided to do voluntary testing of all the products, maize products on the market. And exactly when we discovered that, we had to look at the statistics. So this is what I'm saying. We are destroying quite a big chunk. I think the products that were identified were all withdrawn off the market. I don't think there's even a bag left. So whatever is there has passed the tests.
Zambia has over 100 millers, and according to authorities, all the millers have been inspected with their products tested for aflatoxin. Authorities are yet to review more findings on the investigations after naming over 11 Mealie meal brands with aflatoxin. Over 3,000 bags of quarantined Mealie meal with aflatoxin have since been destroyed. Darius Jonya, Damo News.
This story has, been quite big but it also is quite an interesting story that people find themselves in between a rock and a hard place, because I don't see a lot of people um, throwing away their Mealie meal if they already bought it, and I had this honest conversation with some of some families, because they really can't know which batch was contaminated if it has already been bought by people. And there's a lady I found in a shop, and she was saying she had been following the story, and she was grateful that we covered the story and we broke it, but she continued eating the Mealie meal. And one of the brands that was mentioned was the brand that she had, and it was roller meal. And she said she just thought, if she throws away this bag of Mealie meal, where's she gonna get the money to buy another one? And I felt so bad hearing that, because you can imagine how many other people can experience that kind of situation, And I don't like the fact that sometimes such things are downplayed, because the fact that this happened, and I was talking to a lady like that, it means that this is a big problem. And we have to recognize it for what it is, isn't it? We have to recognize it for what it is, and a very, very unfortunate situation. But it's good that we're making headway. And an agriculturist in Chinsali is also raising alarm and saying that this aflatoxin is not just in one crop, maize. It can be in sorghum, groundnuts, beans, and it has the potential, as we have come to learn, to cause damage to human beings and animals. And we've got the details in this story.
More than 80% of farmers in Zambia grow maize for self-consumption, sale, or both. Maize meal is Zambia's staple food. However, recently the crop was found to contain aflatoxin, with reported deaths of 400 dogs threatening liver disease in humans. Chinsali residents are concerned. The news has brought a lot of fear. That is why it is better that we stick to eating what we produce ourselves.
We are making sure that we don't buy from any shops, because we are suspecting that any type of maize we buy is poisoned.
An agriculturist reveals that not only maize is prone to contamination.
This is caused by not only harvesting half dry, but also bad storages. Certain storage areas, for example, which have got water or wet areas or high humidity or bad roofings or high compacted, these tend to grow.
Contaminated crops, if not properly discarded, can affect the soil and future crops.
I urge everybody who is in the sector of buying and in the sector of production, and the third one is the major one who is now storing, to take high measures on how to store and how to re-dry if possible. If ever possible, again, let them put a scenario whereby they should be only buying dry things. The advice is, wherever you get maize or any grain, it be beans, it be baranat, all grains, I simply say, all grains that has been infested, you find they have changed color to brownish, some reddish. And when it even goes to a stage of being gray, just know that that one is not edible. Better dispose them by burning, winnowing, wherever you winnow it, and they find a cold area with high humidity, they'll start growing. Next time when you plant anything from there, they will infest the plant.
Aflatoxin contamination is caused by crop infection by one or more species of aflatoxin-producing fungi. Cecilia Kayam, Prokoso, Damo News, Chinsali, Mshinga Province.
And I mean, we've tried to explain this, that, there's a lot of other concerns. And, through this investigation, I learned that Zambia has had for a long time now aflatoxin levels that are higher than acceptable in groundnuts, especially. And so this is very important to be kept in mind. And there's been an investigation ongoing. And last week itself, when we were covering this story, I learned that there was actually a project that has been put in place in Tanzania to reduce the levels of aflatoxin in maize. And, that actually goes to show how much of a problem this is and how we need to address it, how we need to navigate it, and how we have to acknowledge how serious the problem is. Let's come back here to Lusaka, where the Lusaka City Council has initiated an expansion project at Chingwera Cemetery due to burial space shortage. The project involves leveling the 7 surrounding hills to create additional burial space. Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Officer Nyambe Bulumba states that the council is actively searching for land to purchase, either from private entities for individuals to establish alternative burial sites. So this is the current situation. Let's take a look at this story by Nicole.
In response to the ongoing burial space shortage at Lusaka's Chingwele Cemetery, the Lusaka City Council has commenced an expansion project by leveling 7 surrounding hills to create additional burial space. As the expansion project to create new burial space is in progress, the gravel obtained from the leveled hills will serve a dual purpose of constructing roads within the cemetery to help mourners have easy access to the site, and a portion of the gravel has been allocated for maintenance of roads at the Chunga landfill. Meanwhile, residents have shared their views on the expansion, noting that it is a necessary development.
So ita idea ya mene mwakwera nayo yako tipanye ma mountains yacha tipangelevo ija space tiambe manje kubaling hapo kuja obviously ndiye kungangale na space yanga
iyo idea ne baleta yo panga space ukurishe munje because tikangana kuno space isikamungathi yasira insufficient so kuja izankala munje maningi.
Assistant Public Relations Officer Nyambe Bulumba of the Lusaka City Council says the council is actively searching for land to establish a more permanent cemetery.
We are currently looking for land to buy, either from private entities or just an individual who is willing to let it go and get money for that. Because, having a place where people in Lusaka have where to properly send their loved ones is one of the mandates of the city council, and we are looking forward to find that land so that at least members of the public can have where to bury their loved ones.
The Lusaka City Council assures the public that the council is closely monitoring the contractor's work to ensure it meets high-quality standards. Nicole Namwinga, Diamond News.
You know how awakening, I don't know if I can say, wrong choice of words when we're talking about burial site, but, okay, not awakening, but... oh man, it's just really, 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 really wild how dark humor is, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, like ghosts. Yeah. What is it? Wrong sound effect, but but it is what it is. Very unfortunate, that so many people die. And when you're like a certain number of people, you don't think that many people are going to die. And now that many people are dying, and you have to look for more space for more dying people. But this is like going to be the case forever and ever, because we're going to only have more people, more and more people. And I remember there was a time the Lusaka City Council was encouraging people to start considering cremation. As you would imagine, the people were not very happy to hear that, because a lot of the Zambian population is Christian, and they believe in burying. Although I don't think there's anything wrong with cremating people in the Christian religion. Is it a religious thing to say ashes to ashes? Is it in the Bible? It's not in the Bible. Is it? Okay, I'd like to check. if it's in the Bible or it's like one of those things people say. Like, you know how people say God helps those who help themselves, but it's not in the Bible. Yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't mind cremation, but I don't know if my family would do it because I wouldn't be there. So I know it would be a lot of politics to do that. But anyway, the Zambian government has taken over possession of tainted properties worth over 100 mil, belonging to Pissed Coin Zambia Limited. Its directors, former President Edgar Lungu's proxy, Peter Malao, Emmanuel Siwanda Mugala, Edson Mugala, Lucky Simbe, Pumulo Malao, and Alexander Mumba Sakala, among others. Among the properties include 109 residential housing units. What? 32 shops and 6 motor vehicles. Possession of the properties follows the findings of the Economic and Financial Crimes Court in its judgment that the interested parties in the forfeiture proceedings failed to prove that the properties were acquired legitimately. Let's take a look at this.
These properties, worth millions of kwacha, will now belong to the state. In a decisive judgment, the Economic and Financial Crimes Court sitting at the Lusaka High Court has ordered for the forfeiture of the properties for being tainted, and they are worth over 100 million kwacha. The forfeited properties are situated in different parts of Lusaka and belong to, among others, former President Edgar Lungu's proxy, Emmanuel Mugala.
You might want to know the properties which are under the company include 10 motor vehicles and equipment which are valued at 7 million, and these are under Bitcoin. We have under Emmanuel Mugala 32 shops, and these are in Lvala South, and also we have a number of residential units, about 37 of them, and the 32 shops are worth about 13,500. 13 million rather, 13,500,000, and the 37 houses in Kamala South and in Libala South are valued at 28,300,000, as well as 41,800,000.
According to an investigations officer at the Anti-Corruption Commission SCC, Mulenga, the commission received information that the interested parties cited in the Director of Public Prosecution DPP's forfeiture application had questioned worth disproportionate to their income. Mr. Mulenga said investigations revealed that Pitiscon Zambia Limited owned a fleet of vehicles altogether valued at 7 million kwacha. Mr. Lungu's proxy, Emmanuel Mugala, owned 21 residential properties valued at different amounts ranging from 1.4 million kwacha, 3.4 million kwacha, 1.7 million kwacha, and 2.7 million kwacha. During his investigations, which covered the period between 2018 and 2022, Mr. Mulenga discovered that the only known source income for Pitscon and Mr. Mugala was the contract for the periodic maintenance of selected feeder roads, but possessed 4 unnumbered plots valued over 26 million kwacha. Several non-conviction forfeiture applications have been made by the Director of Public Prosecution DPP Gilbert Piri before court to have alleged tainted properties forfeited to the state. The Zambian government is using the non-conviction forfeiture proceedings as a tool to fighting corruption and has seen members of the former First family, businessmen, politicians and others dragged to court. Darius Jonya, Diamond News.
Yeah! That's a lot of property. 109 residential housing units, 32 shops, and 6 motor vehicles. I feel like the number of cars should have been more than 6. You know, if you've got 109 residential housing units and 32 shops, you probably have 500 cars, you know, or at least one car to count for each one of these housing units. But, well, it's a good thing that this has been recovered. But also, I mean, 100 these are not like super nice houses, because like if they're 109 and inside there we've got 6 vehicles and we've got 32 shops and they all fit in 100 mil, Not very nice houses, because like a very nice house is gonna be like something like 50. True, it's a lot of money. Of course, it's a lot of money. I'm just looking at the value of these properties also. Government has warned individuals engaging in the spread of misinformation and cyber abuse, emphasizing that such activities pose significant risks to the nation's security and economic growth. Speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka yesterday, Minister of Technology and Science, Felix Mutati, expressed deep concern over the increasing trend of citizens posting unverifiable information on social media platforms. Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Muimbu, has reiterated the legal consequences of cyber offenses, drawing attention to Section 64 of the Cyber Crimes and Security Act, which prescribes a sentence exceeding 5 years for those found guilty of such crimes. Let's take a look at this.
It is, however, disheartening to note that social media in Zambia, such as Facebook, has become a breeding ground for various forms of abuse, misinformation, defamation, including online gender-based violence and online child abuse. Whatever you do in cyberspace, we are going to smoke you out. We have got the tools, the technology, and the equipment to find you.
We all have witnessed the devastating impact of cyberbullying, crime harassment, and cybercrime. Innocent lives have been ruined, reputations tarnished, and livelihoods lost. It is not just individuals who suffer from this abuse of cyber attacks. Cyber attacks on businesses and government have the potential to cripple economies and undermine national security. I find the statement that he and his cadres will follow people in their homes and do whatever they want to do to those people who have been found offending his party and his organization. It therefore follows that President Lungu is preaching violence against any member of the Zambia Police Service or any security wing or any public worker whom he perceives to have been found wanting.
I find it very ironic how the government at the moment makes reference to this cybercrimes law, because they were against it when it was being enacted by the previous administration, and it seems to be coming in quite handy for them at the moment. But Mr. Mwimbu, in the press briefing, labeled former President Edgar Lungu's alleged remarks against the police during a Citizens First Party rally in Zambia as incitements to violence. Now, that's a crime. So I don't know what the minister is saying there, but inciting people to be violent is a crime. And it comes with a lot of other crimes. I'm doubting. But yeah, so it's a lot of things going on. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. We do this Monday to Friday, taking a look at the biggest news stories in the country. My name is Jonah. Bye-bye.